I want to invite you to a journaling moment in which you will spend somewhere like 2-3 minutes with a question and write freely and as honestly as possible, because you will not share with anyone the answers to this question. It's only for you. It's a way of exploring a little bit your relationship to adulthood. And the question is, how do you feel uh, in relationship to adulthood? So how do you feel about the relationship, your relationship with adulthood? How do you feel about your relationship to adulthood, with adulthood? And I will play some music in the background just to have a little bit of musical support, and just take your time, write in your own language any thoughts, feelings, images, memories that emerge from this question. Okay? All right. And a few more moments. Okay. I hope something emerged out of this journaling time. And as I told you, I will let you keep these insights, these words to yourself, and just to stir up a little bit the topic. And now I want to invite you to a collective moment of sharing. So I will invite you to breakout rooms. You'll be three in one breakout room, and you will have 10 minutes and to explore together what it means to be an adult. Yeah, what it means to be an adult, when someone is an adult. How do you see adulthood? And from the collective wisdom and life experience of each one of you to, yeah, emerge some insights, some ideas around what it means to be an adult. Okay? How does this sound? All right, you may want to introduce yourself briefly, your name, your country, and yeah, invitation is to really go to the heart of the matter. Just go to the essence of this question. Yeah, be as direct and as authentic as possible, and let's see what's coming up. And after you return from this, there will be a more presentation time from my side, bringing some perspectives. But yeah, take this time to explore together what it means to be an adult. You should receive soon this invitation on the screen to join a room. And yeah, let's see how it goes. Welcome back. We are waiting a little bit more for the others. Hey, welcome back. My sense is telling me that the time was too short. It was not enough. Or so,
Like always.
like
Yeah.
always, yeah. Okay, so I'm very curious of the things you explored in your trios or in the pairs. And since we don't have so much time, I would just invite you to write in the chat one sentence about what it means to be an adult for you, or yeah, anything around adulthood. What defines adulthood? Maybe something that emerged from the conversation, or something that yeah, you knew before that, just to have a collective sense.
Duma. Despite my childhood expectations, adulthood has nothing to do with age. Most of us are struggling with adulthood, work life, hobbies, balance. Responsibility for your actions, what you do to yourself and others.
Yeah, you may read what the others are writing there. You may feel also inspired. Beautiful. Thank you. I see the word responsibility being repeated multiple times. Independence, sense of purpose, responsible on all levels. Soul landing, coming home, authenticity, being authentic, wider picture, and more open heart. Okay, beautiful words. Thank you, everyone. You feel free to write more if you want. Yeah, I want now to take the conversation into a short presentation. There are some yeah, ideas, concepts that I want to share with you, and I prepared a slide. Okay, just give me a second here. Okay. Just a second. Just curious if you can see. Okay, wonderful. So here are a few ideas about the initiation into adulthood, which is also the topic of our webinar. That is a profound rite of passage in many cultures worldwide, marking the shift from childhood or adolescence to adult responsibilities and privileges. These rites often signify not only personal growth, but also a commitment to one's community, heritage, and values. While they vary significantly, they often include elements like isolation, endurance tests, spiritual ceremonies, and symbolic gestures. And I don't know how your life unfolded until this moment, but me personally, I haven't experienced any specific rites of passage for initiation into adulthood. Not at least in my 30s, let's say, when I started becoming more aware of this topic and the importance of transition into adulthood. But even though these rites of passages are present in many cultures, in the modern society that most of us live are very rare, and the modern society is lacking. But we have the traditions of indigenous cultures and the tribal people. And I want to share with you a few examples of initiation rites. And we have the Vision Quest, and maybe you are familiar with this idea in which a person is going in solitude alone in the wild place, fasting from food, and in some traditions from water, spending time for 3-4 days or more, crying for a vision. There is the walkabout, or the Australian Aboriginal rite of passage, which involves young people going alone by themselves in the wilderness for several months, and they have the minimum equipment, and they are invited, yeah, to get in touch with a deeper sense of life, and also yeah, to survive, basically. Another rite of passage is the land diving. Maybe you've seen these tall structures built with wood, and especially young boys are climbing there, and they have to jump as a test of initiation into manhood. There is also the ant glove ritual, in which young people's hands are put into these kind of pillows that are filled with highly venomous ants from the Amazonian jungle, and they are biting and eating the hands of young people, giving them tremendous pain, uh, but also putting them into some kind of trance through which they receive visions. And there are also rituals in which people's skin is pierced and they have lifelong scars. And this is again a test of endurance. So these are some rites of passage that mark the transition from childhood to adulthood, still practiced in indigenous tribes, but almost absent in the modern society. Of course, these rites of passage fascinated many people, and anthropologists and researchers studied these cultures. And one of them, one of the people that I followed, is Richard Rohr. And he, through his research, he realized that an initiation process should give to the person that is going through this initiation 5 lessons, 5 understandings of life. And the first understanding is that life is hard. So all these rites of passage that were mentioned before kind of prove that life is hard. In order to make it by ourselves in the wild for a few months, we have to experience hardships. Another lesson is that we are not that important. And this is somehow, dealing with the grandiosity feeling that the human psyche has, and is in a way diminishing this grandiose feeling, and it's just putting us into a place in the larger web of life. So this is another lesson, that we are not that important. Another lesson is that life is not about us, and that there's something bigger, something more that is more important. And we may define this as our life purpose, our mission, or the greater good that we are called to serve. Another lesson that we need to learn is that we are not in control. If you lived enough on this planet, you may experience this, that often we want to achieve things and we do our best, but certain results, they don't happen, just because we are not in control of everything. And when we are in this kind of initiation rites, we learn that we are not in control. And the 5th lesson is that we are going to die. And this is also an important lesson, especially if we look at the modern society, which is obsessed with youthfulness and being forever 21, forgetting that we are going to die at one point. So all these initiation rites that I spoke briefly before, they were somehow bringing these 5 lessons in the consciousness of the initiated person. Okay, moving forward to some key elements for initiation into adulthood. So the initiation into adulthood contained a part of separation and isolation, because we people grow up in the village, in the human culture, and in order to be initiated into another phase of our lives, we need to be separated. And there is an example of the initiation of boys in various tribes. And by the way, I am more familiar to initiation of boys into manhood, because besides the work that I do with mixed groups, I'm also working on men's work. I have a men's work project, so I kind of investigated and researched more into the initiation of boys into men. So there's this ritual in which the boys, when they reach puberty, they are taken by force by older men in the village, and they are taken from their mother's homes, and they are taken out of the village and brought into the camp of the initiation camp. So this has to happen in order to leave behind the adolescent identity and get ready and be prepared to go into an identity and phase of our life that is defined by being an adult. A second element that is present in the initiation into adulthood is the encounter with the sacred. So all these processes are facilitating an experiencing a higher power or spiritual connection with the divine, with the spirits, with the ancestors, and it's in a way activating our parts that are defined, for example, by the archetype of the magician or the witch. So there are these parts of us that connect with the higher transcendental dimensions of life. And these can happen through fasting, praying, ceremonies, and rituals. And then there's often a physical and a mental challenge, enduring trials to build resilience and courage. Imagine being alone in the wilderness without food and water for 4 days, in the dark, surrounded by wild animals. So in the cold, very often. So there has to be this kind of trial that is pushing us to access inner resources, strengths that will make us be more resilient and courageous. Often, a fourth element is the presence of a symbolic death and rebirth, because in the initiation into adulthood, we need to shed the old identity, the identity that we developed as children, as adolescents, maybe an identity that allow us to fit in or to belong to certain groups or to be accepted by our parents or extended family. So in this initiation processes, we shed the old identity that no longer serve us in order to embrace the new roles. There is also learning and the wisdom sharing, receiving cultural, ethical, and life guidance from elders, from those who walked this journey before us. And we are being taught often universal principles, the laws of life. Another element is the acceptance of responsibility, which is something that came very much in your writings in the chat. Because being adult also involves taking specific adult roles and commitments. And the seventh element is reintegration and recognition. And the persons that went through the initiation are welcomed back in the community, and they are received as adults. And I have here in mind this initiation process of the young boys that were taken literally from their mothers in a ritualistic way. And when they return to the village, they are recognized by their mothers as someone else. They have returned as men. And the fact that these rituals are so scarce nowadays, we may say that it can be a cause why, for example, many men are stuck in immature behaviors, and we have this archetype of the Peter Pan, for example, in which young men in their 30s, 40s, or later on still being stuck in adolescent identity. So these are some key elements for the initiation into adulthood. All right, a few more things, and then we will shift to something else. And yeah, we have seen the initiation rites that happen in the tribes, but we live in the modern society, and probably it's very difficult to go through the same initiation rites, also because they can be very risky, and maybe the life of those going through the initiation, maybe it's threatened. Many of these young adults that were being initiated, maybe they were dying. So, in order to still contribute to the initiation into adulthood and adapt it to our modern times, we need new tools. We need new ways of doing that can match our times and also feed the deeper needs of our psyches, of our hearts. And I want to share with you a model which is helping to the transition to adulthood. And this model is developed by Bill Plotkin and is described in his book Nature and the Human Soul. And briefly, just in a few minutes here, this model is speaking about life that is formed by eight stages. So Bill Plotkin is mapping the journey of one person from birth to death as a journey in 4 stages, in 8 stages. And we can see here in the east facet is the innocent in the nest. This is the first stage of childhood, and the explorer in the garden is the second stage of childhood. And in each stage, there are certain tasks that children have to fulfill, and then they go into the third stage, which is the adolescent stage, first stage of adolescence, and then stage 4 is the second stage of adolescence. But these 2 stages are very different, because the first stage, stage 3, in this stage, a person has to develop an authentic self that is accepted by the community. So to develop a secure and authentic social self that is accepted by at least a group of people, a group of friends. And when we develop, when this authentic self is developed, we later on are being called to step into the second stage of adolescence, which is the wanderer in the cocoon. And this stage is the stage in which we are normally leaving the village behind, leaving the familiar places behind, and we are embarking in a journey of discovering our true deep selves. Now, the problem is that most of the people of the modern society are getting stuck in stage 3, and very few people arrive in stage 4. Because after stage 4, when someone is passing through stage 4 and reaching stage 5, this is the first stage of adulthood. And this is a model of psycho-spiritual development. It's not related to the age of a certain person. And I was saying that stage 3 is where most people in the modern world get stuck, because the modern world is somehow not supporting the development of an authentic, secure social self. And often because we are being forced somehow to be someone that we are not. And Often the school system is failing at supporting young people identify their authenticity. Social media is a realm where we uh, we learn so many ways of being that sometimes we get confused, and in this stage we may conform to other people's ways of being and we may rebel. So an important step into becoming an adult is to uh, unfold and create an authentic social self. Okay, 10 minutes officially are left. So I'm going to stop the presentation here. And yeah, so this is a model that I would say is combining the indigenous teachings of the rites of passage to the modern human, combining with elements of psychology, developmental psychology, depth psychology, and yeah. I'm inviting you to explore this model and even to buy the book and read it. There are also many presentations on internet about this model. Okay, good. How does this sound? How does everything sound? Yeah, thank you. Wonderful question. Ah, well, maybe just before answering to your question, I have some ideas here that I want to mention. Um, so just a few more ideas about the modern society. And Bill Plotkin is speaking that we are at large a patho-adolescent society, and this is because we are most people in the modern society are stuck in an adolescent phase, adolescent consciousness. And he uses the metaphor of the caterpillar. And the caterpillar, the little worm, is the adolescent consciousness of the butterfly. And the butterfly is the adult version of this being. And the cocoon is the process of transitioning, of shifting into adulthood. And the caterpillar is when the butterfly is in the caterpillar phase, is consuming the biggest amount of resources, eating lots of leaves and consuming a lot, compared with how much a butterfly consumes. And Bill Plotkin is using this analogy with the modern society, which is highly consumerist, which is consuming a lot of the resources of the world, because we are kind of stuck in this adolescent consciousness. And it's important to shift towards this transition phase, the cocoon phase, in order to emerge as adult beings. Okay, big topic, 1 hour. This is insane a little bit, but I want to return to this question in the chat, and then there's one moment of journaling that I want to offer you as somehow transitioning in the last part of the webinar. So, what rites of passage have you found applicable in today's society? Yeah. Yeah, as well as giving birth seems to be a natural rite of passage available for women. Yeah, wonderful. That's why, yeah, it's some depth psychologists were saying that initiation is in the initiation process, um, activation of certain archetypes are happening. And for example, I'm thinking of the archetype of the mother. When someone is giving birth, the archetype of the mother can activate and can become more present in the psyche of a woman. Um, So, rites of passage found applicable in today's society. Well, I can tell you that for me, the journey of becoming an adult is a long journey. It has been a long journey that spread over several years, and I went through Vision Quest, and that was very important for me to discover deep elements about my purpose and my meaning in life, what I have to offer. And when I went through the rites of passage, I felt that okay, now I am an adult. I can feel an adult, but I realized that there were moments after my Vision Quest in which I didn't feel an adult. And I realized that for me, something else had to happen. It was to be initiated in manhood. So I went through programs, through men's work programs and men's rites of passage, and that added one more layer. And I went through a 5 day rites of passage for men in the US. And that was lovely, but I felt that it was not enough because I returned home and my parents had no idea that I went through all these things, and there was no community to welcome me and perceive me as an initiated man. So I had my parents looking at me as a 7 year old boy who needs to be instructed on how to live life. So it has been a long journey, and yeah, many things need to happen because Bill Plotkin describes very well in his book. Every stage contains several tasks. We need to learn our values. We need to learn conflict resolutions, yeah, and connection with nature, and so on and so forth. Okay, good. I can speak much more, and I would love to speak much more, but I'm also respectful for your time because maybe you made different plannings for this evening. But I want to invite you to a moment of journaling again, and I have a few questions for you. And I want to invite you to journal to these questions in a specific way. I'm gonna offer you 4 questions, and you are invited to answer only with 5 words. So only 5 words. And these 5 words can be connected with each other or independent. And of course, once you journal, you may return to these words and reflect more and journal more. But the idea is just to have 5 words for each question. Okay, are you ready? Okay, I know it's very, uh, fast forward everything, but maybe something will stay. Okay, so the first question is, how is an adult? How is an adult? And just 5 words. It can be in your own language, any kind of word. You will not share the answers. 5 words for this question. So, how is an adult? And just to write 5 words. 5 words per question. Okay, a few more moments. Okay, the second question. Second question is how an adult is not. how an adult is not. Okay, one more question. Okay, so the next question is, okay, I will give you a few more moments. I see some of you still writing. Okay, so the next question is, how do you feel about you as an adult? How do you feel about you as as an adult? Okay, and the last question. The last question is, what do you need on your adulthood journey? On your journey of adulthood. What do you need on your adulthood journey? Again, 5 words. Okay, few more moments. Okay. So officially, the time of the webinar has it's over, but I really want to invite you a little bit in a breakout room to meet with another person and to speak for about 3-4 minutes about what do you take with you from this webinar? What stays with you? What touched you? What do you take? Yeah. So a way of reflecting out loud and also hearing another and being inspired from each other. So yeah, what do you take with you from this? Just give me a few seconds to recreate. Okay. Okay, so you'll have 5 minutes in this breakout room. What do you take with you, and anything else that you feel like sharing? Okay, see you in 5 minutes.
Too short.
Yes, I can imagine. Okay, so yeah, we are approaching the end of our time here. Um, So as a closing, I would just invite you again for a minute of silence, just to be with this experience, with questions, with information, with anything that is present, just to have a smooth transition and maybe integrate and allow this experience to settle. Just a minute to be in silence. Okay, we can slowly return. Okay, good. We'll stop here. Thank you for your presence. Yeah, we may keep in touch. Personally, I will be doing more workshops, projects, trainings for people that also address, or in a way, everything that I do is supporting people to become, um, yeah, stronger, more whole, more authentic, more soulful adults. And I hope we'll meet again in various ways, online or in person. I wish you a beautiful evening. And yeah, I will stay with a hunger for not hearing your stories and questions and voices, and with curiosity of what's happening inside your heart. But I hope we'll have more time to do this in the future. I wish you beautiful autumn. May you embrace the darkness of the fruitful darkness of autumn and these transformational times. Yeah, may you walk in beauty, how the Native Americans say. May you walk in beauty. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.